It has been a privilege to hear all of the speakers that preceded me. So thank you all so much for sharing your wisdom. I invite everyone to, we'll take clearing breath all together. It's a lot of stories, a lot of things we're taking in. So I invite you all to take a deep inhale in through your nose and a smooth exhale out your mouth. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines grief as deep and poignant distress caused by or as if by bereavement. Grief is a universal human experience that we all experience, yet we're ill equipped to navigate. Grief is one of those experiences that you can't fully understand until you've gone through it yourself. And even then, everyone's experiences are unique to them. I first became acquainted with grief my junior year of undergrad when my mom, Angie, transitioned on October 3rd, 2017. And as if that wasn't enough, 16 months later, my father, Orgy, joined her beyond the veil on February 18th, 2019. So at 21 years old, I became an adult orphan and the legal guardian to my youngest sister. Now, I'm sure there are people in the audience today that come from cultures that see the first daughters as the third parent. I am the first of three daughters to Nigerian immigrants, so imagine my surprise when I actually became the third parent. 6 months after my father's funeral, I was in Boston starting my career as a management consultant. And I feared what my colleagues would think of me, would think of my work if they knew what was happening in my personal life. So I didn't breathe a word of what I was experiencing to anybody. And if I'm being honest, I probably used work as a coping mechanism to avoid the pain and the grief that was sitting on my heart. Now, combined with the uncertainty of the 2020 lockdown, my outlook on life was pretty bleak. I cried between work calls. I experienced near daily panic attacks. And every night I would close my eyes and secretly hoped that they'd stay closed forever. For a while, I sat in the darkest corners of my psyche. I lost touch with my sense of self. I questioned the meaning of life. What's the point of human existence if we're destined to experience loss and pain and suffering? In my search for answers, I found myself growing increasingly angry. I was angry with God for taking my parents too soon. I was angry with my dad for not being stronger, for not asking for help when the weight of his own grief became too much. So during the spring of 2020, one of my colleagues turned friend sent me a Yoga with Adrian 30-day yoga challenge. I know there are many of us who were doing all types of workout challenges at the beginning of the pandemic. This 30-day yoga challenge was the catalyst for my healing journey. My yoga practice became the container through which I could process my grief and process my anger. And not just as thoughts, but as feelings and physical sensations in my body. By processing somatically, I had that much more space to reach for and grasp onto life. I began to dance more and dance more freely. I would dance in the mirror, feeling gratitude for the body that carried me through such intense heartache. Express gratitude for the body that chose life, despite my inability to choose life myself. My body knew how to choose life because it came from my mother's. I witnessed my mom choose life while laying on what could have been her deathbed. By the time of her passing, she had outlived her doctor's prognosis by nearly 10 years. Despite her physical condition, she was the most joyous, most vibrant, most loving person in any and every room. For as long as she could and as often as she could, she danced, she sang, and she loved on her people. So when you see me, you see Angie. Grief is a powerful reminder that tomorrow is not promised, that we are all living on borrowed time. Grief taught me the power of community. I wonder if my dad would still be here if he felt like he could rely on the people who loved him the most. Grief taught me the power of presence. No amount of distracted scrolling could make the pain go away. Grief taught me the power of appreciating the small moments. I never imagined I'd miss my mom saying hello to strangers on the street or baking bread with my dad. Grieving my parents and figuring out life in a country that does not always feel like my own has been a journey, has been a journey, but a journey that has brought me to places that I could have never imagined and has allowed me to connect with people in the most beautiful and profound ways. Grief propelled me on this journey of healing, of dreaming, of imagining. So my invitation to you is to give an extra tight hug to your mom, your dad, your siblings, your kids, your friends, your colleagues, if you're cool with them like that. Because we never know when it could be our last. It is my hope that in sharing my story today to anyone who is experiencing grief, that you feel seen, you feel held, and you are reminded you are not alone.